Why she doesn't text back. The silent truth tired of getting ghosted. You send that message, the one you reread 5 times, edited twice, waited an hour before sending, and all you get is silence. Minutes stretch into hours, hours into days, and in that space, your mind starts whispering the worst stories. You weren't interesting enough. She met someone better. You messed it up. But here's what most men never hear. Her silence doesn't always speak about your worth. Sometimes, it only speaks about her world. The reality of modern silence. We live in a time where conversations happen on screens in bits and flashes, where dopamine drives swipes, likes, and brief sparks of attention. She might have opened your message at work in the middle of a meeting and thought, I'll reply later. And later became tomorrow, and tomorrow never came. She might be drowning in notifications, hundreds of messages from strangers, acquaintances, and men who seem just like you. Not because she's cruel, but because it's overwhelming. And then there's the ghosting phenomenon. Not a planned act of disrespect, but the default escape when honesty feels too uncomfortable, or when real connection feels too risky. And in a world where everyone wants quick answers, sometimes silence becomes the only way to step back. Inside her mind, the possible meanings of silence. Her silence could mean she isn't sure about her feelings. It could mean life has pulled her in other directions. Family, stress, past wounds resurfacing. Or maybe she senses your interest is deeper than hers and doesn't know how to say so gently. Sometimes silence is self-protection, a shield against vulnerability. Sometimes it's hesitation. And yes, sometimes it means her interest faded. But remember, silence rarely screams, "You're worthless." More often it whispers, "I'm not ready," or "I'm not sure." The Stoic perspective, focus on what you control here, is where Stoicism becomes your ally. You cannot control her replies, but you can control what you do while waiting. And even more importantly, you can control whether you wait at all. When you catch yourself reaching for the phone, ask, am I texting to express or to get validation? Am I acting from calm or from fear? A man who needs constant reassurance becomes predictable, and predictability kills desire. But a man who is patient, self-contained, and purposeful becomes magnetic. Practical wisdom. How to respond to silence. Don't rush to double text. If you feel the urge, pause. Let the silence teach you patience. Fill your time with what makes you whole. Reading, training, building, creating. Make your life so rich that a single reply, or lack of it, can't shake your center. Reflect. Did you feel anxious even before she stopped replying? Often, our need for immediate answers comes from deeper wounds, not from this one conversation. Why chasing rarely works. When you chase, you shift the balance. You show that your peace depends on her validation. Women sense this, not as love, but as need. Need repels, presence attracts. A man who stands still, centered, and unshaken by a late reply, silently communicates, I value you, but I don't need you to feel whole. And paradoxically, that very calmness can draw her back. When silence teaches you about yourself, every unread message, every unanswered call becomes a mirror. Why does this bother me so much? What story am I telling myself about my worth? Am I chasing her or the idea of her? This is where heartbreak and philosophy intersect. By reflecting on your reaction, you discover your insecurities, your patterns, your deepest fears, and only then can you begin to heal them. Beyond her silence, your bigger journey, understand, your goal is never to force someone to respond. Your goal is to become the kind of man who remains at peace, even when the world goes quiet. A man who fills his own cup so completely that others become drawn to drink, not because he asks, but because he simply is. And this is the art of not chasing, living so fully, so honestly, that what leaves doesn't break you, and what stays doesn't define you. Moving forward with calm confidence. Her silence might feel like rejection, but it's also an invitation to slow down, to reflect, to build your life beyond anyone's reply. Visualize your life without waiting by the phone. Rich, textured, filled with laughter, purpose, and your own quiet triumphs. Understand, your value doesn't rise or fall with 3 dots on a screen. It's built daily in your choices, your discipline, and your courage to stand alone. So the next time your phone stays quiet, don't panic, breathe, remember who you are, and keep building. Because what's meant for you will recognize your stillness and find its way to you. If this message spoke to you, follow, like, and subscribe. Join thousands of men choosing calm over chaos, depth over desperation, and presence over chasing. Your journey doesn't end here. It begins.